Bagel412 asked me a question recently. How do I go about analysing a score? Well, I'm going to show you with one of Gil Evans's most famous arrangements, My Ship. First I investigate the basics of the work, and then the form. And then I start looking at texture. Really? Texture? Yep. And here's why. Texture is how the timbre, tempo, melodic, and harmonic materials are combined to make up a composition, and determine the overall quality of the sound in a piece. It's basically a good general way to look at things, noting how the composer or arranger has utilized the main textures and elements of music to enhance the piece. I take particular note of what elements are contrasted or not. This will tell you a lot about how the piece is working. The introduction is beautiful. Over a pedal note, we have high cup muted trumpets descending with French horns on the inner parts. It has a glowing quality. The harmonic rhythm is about 2 beats, and the bass clarinet has a contrary line rising up. It is the only instrument to do so. This adds a lot of extra forward motion, as it moves at a quicker pace than the surrounding harmonies. All in all, it's a magical, sustained opening to the piece. Then we have the first A section. We have a homophonic or soli texture, and this is common in jazz music. Most of the instruments are all playing the same rhythm. The timbre is extremely warm, low and rich. Miles hasn't entered yet, and the melody is played by French horn and winds. In terms of contrast to the introduction, the harmonic rhythm is generally quicker and the range of the music is lower and richer. Incidentally, it's passages like this one where I learned a lot of the tips for harmonizing like Gil. In terms of the orchestration, there are no trumpets in this A section. It's all low brass and winds. This is contrasted in the next A section, where high trumpets enter again with cup mutes. Miles enters over the band playing nice, lush chords. The range is really expansive here, a bit like in the opening. The harmonic rhythm is about 2 beats, sometimes quickening to 1 beat. The previous section had a complex harmonic rhythm. That is now simplified so Miles can play over the top. These are the sorts of things I like to pick out when analysing a score. Halfway through the A section, a lot of the higher instruments drop away. This gives us a bit of contrast for the second half of the A section. The end of the A section introduces a rhythmic figure with dotted crotchets entering off the beat. Then comes the bridge. This is a section of great contrast. We have a double-time swing feel over a pedal note, and we hear the open trumpets for the first time. Miles, of course, is playing a flugelhorn. A bar into the bridge, more brass instruments enter, adding a very nice thick harmony. The harmonic rhythm is very quick here, with a new chord for each note. we have a complex, generally 5-part harmony. This is the band's wee moment to shine as Miles takes a break. Then halfway through the bridge, we have one of the biggest contrast moments in the piece. Miles re-enters over a unison line in octaves played by woodwinds and French horn. The texture starts to thicken again as more instruments enter and the harmonic rhythm accelerates slightly. For the last A section, we have Miles playing the melody again over an accompaniment that's more simple than the first A sections. We have the low brass and rhythm section starting the A section. By the third and fourth bar, a French horn is added, and then by the fifth and sixth bar, winds enter. This gives a subtle lift to the texture and thickens it slightly. This is accompanied by a quickening of the harmonic rhythm. Gill accentuates the textures by often marrying up the thickness of the ensemble with the harmonic rhythm. Then in bar 7 of this A section, note how it's just Miles again over a low bass trombone and rhythm section. Then the ensemble rejoins again. This builds up to a nice soft climax in this A section. This is beautifully orchestrated with winds, low brass and French horns. Then it's all paired back again as Miles plays the last few notes over a descending bass and bass trombone line. Then we're on to the ending. It's similar to the introduction, but it doesn't have the bass clarinet contrary line. It has slightly more rhythmic drive due to the rhythm in the pedal point. The cut muted trumpets have re-entered here, adding some contrast to the orchestration and timbre. The end of the piece is a D flat triad over a C bass note, a nice subtle discord, which of course connects to the next track, Miles Ahead. And that's it. Let me know if you enjoyed this take on my ship. There is already some harmonic analysis of my ship on YouTube. If you'd like to hear my detailed thoughts on it, let me know in the comments.